Are you completely busy right now, but have no idea where everything is headed? Do you feel like you're just kind of going through motions and there's no real plan? You're just kind of doing for the sake of doing because there's just one more task to do on your to do list? If that feels like you, then you're in the right space. And I want you to pay attention to what I'm about to tell you. What's missing is a destination. You have to define very clearly what it is that you're actually trying to achieve, because a lot of business owners I've talked to, they struggle with this concept of understanding where it's all headed, because a lot of them end up with 10, 20, 30, 40, sometimes even 50-year-old businesses that are still doing the same thing, or they're just still doing the same motions because it's familiar, but they have no idea where it's going. And this is the first of the 4 C's, which is course. And course is charting out your path of where you are from port A, where you start, and going all the way to port B, where your destination is. The intentionality between of planning for a path or a course is super important for not just your business, but for your life. And, not a life coach here. So, but I'm telling you that this is the most important thing that you can do for your business is make sure that you map and chart out your end destination for you, because the business, you as the business owner, had a purpose for starting your company. And in the beginning, it was startup mentality. Everything was exciting and opportunity, and I'm going to achieve all this great stuff, right? We remember that fire and that passion we all had when we got into business for ourselves, thinking, I'm going to be my own boss. I'm going to figure this out. And we're going to, you built this amazing thing built off your grit, determination, and your self sacrifice. But at some point, you lose way, like you lose your way. At some point, you forget why you were doing all this to begin with. So, this is where having a roadmap or having a course charted, written down, yes, this is my end destination. And this is coming from my time I spent as a exit and succession strategist. I helped owners understand what the end goal was. So, for example, you could want to sell, right, to a private buyer. You maybe want to sell to a, if you got a local company, maybe your goal is to sell and stand up something you can pass off to another local guy. I had a client that did that very wanted to do that very same thing, is in the process of doing it right now, where he wanted to stand up an operator locally to keep the business local but still provide them the same opportunities of success that he was able to enjoy. Not for everybody, but it was a great option for him, and that's what he wanted. And so we helped him build that. Other people want to sell to private equity and do a big private equity roll-up deal in which they got max purchase price, right? Max multiple, because the private equity firm has got raised a bunch of capital for this particular purpose. So, or it could be you want to have a succession plan, right? Maybe you want to pass it off to your adult children, or maybe multiple children, or maybe you want to pass it off to your niece, your nephew, or whatever, right? But there or a key employee inside your business. There are different ways to pass off a business. And here's a promise I can give to you. And this is an extra nugget, is that everybody exit their company. Everybody will exit their business at some point. This is not an if, it's a when. And when you start kind of looking at it from that perspective, you can start to get real with yourself. It doesn't matter how young you are, doesn't matter how old you are, doesn't matter what your business is. At some point, you're going to exit and you need a plan. And that's the destination I'm talking about. Your business should support your life. The business should support the life that you want to live. Whatever version of you that looks like, it should support it. So knowing what that end state is important. Then from there, you could start to piece together the plan. So you break it down into three three parts, right? So I break down a passage plan, or your chart, your course, into three parts. You have your waypoints, which are the unique milestones along your path, along your way, that are going to help you make sure that you know what you need to achieve and when you need to achieve it by. These are the big milestones, right? These are not the daily little tasks. This is the big picture, quarter over quarter, year over year. This is how we know we're keeping pace. The second thing is heading. So the heading of your business is how the waypoints now cascade or come down to the rank and file of your business, and how every role inside that company is building and moving with the singular heading towards the next waypoint. How does the tasks all work towards getting us to the waypoint on time? That is heading. That's the daily beat of the business, daily beat of your activities. Everything has a reason to exist, and it moves you towards your waypoint. And then you also mark out the third thing is you're marking out your no-go zones. No-go zones are marking what you will not do, right? They're just as important as declaring and writing down what you will do. Make sure that you mark out along your route the things that you will not do. This is the things that'll come up to distract you. Like, hey, my buddy's doing this amazing thing in real estate. It's super easy, not a whole lot of money, and you can make a ton of money doing it real fast, right? Who hasn't heard that one before? Or maybe the crypto bro coming in and say, hey, man, I got this amazing opportunity, and this thing's going to the moon. I promise you, right? And then you spend all this time trying to figure out how to be a crypto day trader, or you've got whatever it is, the whatever different opportunities, we'll call them opportunities, right, that keep coming up over and over again, and these are the things that will distract you from accomplishing your mission or staying on course. You have to clearly define your path, clearly define your course, so that you know where you're going, the daily activities you need to get there, and the things that you're going to not do. Now, here is a great example of a company that I was talking to not that long ago. They had $1 billion valuation. This is a real business, raised a bunch of money, has a real product, but I was talking with a leader on their team, and we got past the first meeting, said, yeah, we want to keep having a conversation. It's great. Second conversation we had with him, he was going over all these amazing AI tools, and look at all the stuff that we've built in order to achieve this thing. And I was like, well, I said, time out for a second. What does success look like here with this initiative? And he kind of got a little defensive at me, looked at me weird, and he's like, well, what do you mean? What do you mean? We're just trying to, yeah, I just want to see how hard it is to do all this stuff. I'm like, I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. No, what is the success criteria? Like, how will you know that this is successful? And he's like, no, I have no expectations. We're just doing it to say do it. I was like, I then went on to tell him what the future was going to do for him. He's gonna see some result, right? Because some activity is better than no activity at all, and you're gonna see a result of some kind. But the problem is he wasn't going to be able to take those results, that data, and put it through the lens of achieving a result, because he's not aiming at anything. So how is he going to interpret all that data? He has no basis to understand it on. So I we told him basically that I didn't think we were a good fit to work together, because he did not understand, or he wasn't able to clearly articulate to me what it is he was trying to achieve. And there was going to be no measure of success that he would be happy with. It's just like, that's why we wouldn't be a good fit to work together, because he doesn't know what he wants to do. How can I help somebody if they don't know what they want to do? That's a problem. So on a ship, when I was a merchant mariner on a ship, everybody had a job. Everybody had something that they had to do, and it was all for the main mission of taking cargo from port A and moving it to port B safely and efficiently. That's the job of a merchant vessel. That's the job. Take something from port A, bring it over to port B safely and efficiently. You do that, success, right? So but everybody on the ship had a job, whether it was changing oil in the gears, whether it was greasing the wires, whether it was maintaining the hawsers, or checking on the main engine, or whatever it was, right? Chipping and painting the deck. Everybody had a job that facilitated the safe and efficient transfer of cargo from one port to another port. There was no variation, right? There wasn't anything that was, oh, wow, I guess we're going to do this today because it may be a good idea. Let's see how hard it is to do it. No, everything had a purpose. There was a very specific, unique outcome that everybody on the ship was there to perform. even the steward department, even the galley that was there, because their job was probably the most important of all, because it was there to help keep the sailors fed. Like, probably talk about one of the most important jobs. Like, if you can't have a crew that is being fed, they're not going to work. So, like, that was a super important job. All this to say, you got to have a charted course for your business, and it has to start with the course that you want to set for your life. So, over the next few days, we're going to go over the three pillars that make up course, right? We're going to go over waypoint, we're going to go over heading, and we're going to go over no go zones. So, you know exactly what I'm talking about, and so that you can apply them specifically in your life and your business. So, stay tuned. See you next time.